Why does the United States need an amphibious assault? It carrying Marines and ground troops to deal with Iran, when the US has been carrying out airstrikes along Iran's coastal lines for weeks. The problem is that Iran does not rely only on large, easy-to-spot targets. They use fast attack boats, minefields, well-hidden coastal defense missiles, and many drones to track, harass, and strike ships passing through. Meanwhile, even though the United States has massive aircraft carriers, those ships cannot move deep into the shallow waters of the Strait of Hormuz. That is why the right solution is amphibious ships that can deploy hovercraft, bring Marines and combat vehicles close to shore, hunt down hidden launchers, and strike targets located along the coastline. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important maritime choke points in the world, handling about 80% of the global oil supply. At its narrowest point, the strait is only about 16-kilometer wide, or nautical miles. That narrow space forces large, slow-moving commercial vessels to pass very close to the Iranian coastline and strategically positioned islands. In a conflict, this geography becomes an ideal trap. It strongly favors an anti-access/area denial strategy, or A2/AD. Instead of depending on a traditional blue water navy, Iran's military and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps have built a layered defense network perfectly suited to this confined environment. They use naval mines to block traffic, fast attack boats to close in on Reger ships, coastal defense cruise missile hidden in the mountain or shoreline, and loitering UAV to shadow and target vessels. Traditional US Navy warships are incredibly powerful machines designed for deep water combat and long-range missile defense. But in shallow, crowded waters close to shore, the reaction time to a missile launch from land or a swarm attack by small boats is cut down to only a few seconds. In other words, they become more vulnerable. That is why the US needs amphibious assault ships built specifically for near-shore warfare. Ships in classes like America, Wasp, and San Antonio are not just military transport vessels. They are also floating expeditionary bases optimized for operations close to the coast. A ship like the USS Tripoli is essentially a mobile expeditionary base of about carrying a highly flexible combat load. On board are 5th-generation F-B Lightning II stealth fighters capable of short takeoff and vertical landing. These F-Bs can carry out precision strikes, electronic warfare, and sensor networking to hunt tags all alongside them a heavy-lift aircraft such as the Osprey and Super Stallion, which can quickly move troops deep inland or land them on hostile islands. There are also Viper and Venom helicopters, lightweight rotary wing aircraft that are highly effective in close air support and in taking out swarms of fast attack boats. However, hardware is only half the story. The deciding factor is what the Marines actually do. They do not just clear the water, they also have to secure the coastline so the Navy can operate safely. A Marine expeditionary unit usually brings about 2,200 to 2,500 personnel into the battle space, operating under the doctrine of establishing forward expeditionary bases. They can carry out helicopter assaults or amphibious landings to seize key coastal terrain and strategic islands. Once they control those positions, they can dismantle the enemy's radar network and missile sites, blinding and seriously weakening the A2/AD system. Before Navy minesweepers can begin clearing the strait, the coastline must be secured so those vulnerable vessels are not fired upon. After taking an island, Marine forces can also deploy their own mobile anti-ship missiles and air defense systems, creating a new protective zone for international shipping lanes. If a merchant ship is targeted, reconnaissance units and specialized boarding teams can also launch from small boats or helicopters to protect the vessel and prevent hijacking. So why does the United States still need these mini aircraft carriers when it already has massive floating air bases like Nimitz-class nuclear aircraft carriers? The answer is very simple. Air power, no matter how strong it is, cannot seize and hold territory on its own. Aircraft can destroy enemy forces, flatten military infrastructure, and change the battlefield from far away, but they cannot move into cities, hold roads, protect civilians, or stop the enemy from retaking lost ground. To exercise real control, you still need Marines and infantry on the ground. The structure of an amphibious assault is designed exactly for that role. Two large elevators on either side of the ship works like vertical conveyor systems, constantly moving aircraft between the hangar and the flight deck to maintain a high operational tempo. Deeper below is the vehicle deck, where equipment is kept in a constant state of readiness. There, 700 amphibious assaults can be seen lined up neatly, like soldiers awaiting orders, alongside M1 Abrams tank, truck, artillery, and support VIX. A network of ramps and elevators allows VIX to move quickly. When the order comes, engines roar, and the entire column rolls straight to the launch point. At the stern is the well deck, a floodable space that opens a gateway to the sea. As water fills the deck, 3 LCAC hovercraft rise into position, ready to race across waves, sand, and difficult terrain, carrying tanks, troops, and equipment to places traditional landing craft would not dare approach. In addition to LCAC, the well deck can also handle other types of landing craft, giving the operation tremendous flexibility. This is where sea power is turned into real fighting force on land. At the very top of the ship is the bridge, usually made up of 2 main levels. The lower level is responsible for navigation and ship control, while the upper level, with its bridge wings, provides better visibility during maneuvering or docking. Thanks to these 2 levels, officers can manage a large warship far more effectively. During underway replenishment, there are usually 7 to 10 Keys officers and crew members on the bridge to maintain full control. This team includes the captain, executive officer, officer of the deck, conning officer, helmsman, lee helmsman, and navigation personnel. The captain oversees route calculations, distance, heading, and speed, while also adjusting for wind, currents, and tides to make sure the ship does not fall into a vulnerable position against the enemy's coastal defenses. By the way, if you do not want your phone or email to be compromised in a similar way, then a military-grade VPN may be worth considering. Think of Surfshark VPN as your first line of defense. This service can scan for threats and warn you about thousands of dangerous emails. On top of that, it comes with powerful antivirus software to protect your devices from viruses, malware, and tracking from ads, bots, or third parties. With Surfshark VPN, a single subscription can protect not only me, but also friends, and even a much larger group of users if needed. When you buy through the promo link surf.com/itel, you will get 4 extra months free, along with a 30-day money-back guarantee. But getting back to the main question, why does the military still need an amphibious warship when it already has a $4 billion aircraft carrier? An aircraft carrier truly does have overwhelming air power, comparable to that of a small nation, and it can reshape the battlefield from hundreds of miles away. However, no matter how impressive that power is, aircraft still cannot occupy or control land. They can destroy enemy forces and infrastructure, but they cannot move into populated areas, keep streets secure, or protect innocent civilians. To win a conflict, troops still need to be physically present on the ground to hold territory and stabilize the area. That is the vital role of the amphibious warship. Amphibious ships carry marines, tanks, and armored vehicles close to an enemy coastline, then deploy them quickly using hovercraft. These hovercraft can travel across water, beaches, and complex terrain, delivering forces to places traditional landing craft or aircraft cannot easily reach. Once ashore, the Marines can secure a beachhead, push inland, and clear urban areas and complex battle zones, missions that cannot be completed without infantry on the ground. The strength of amphibious forces lies in the seamless coordination between infantry, tanks, helicopters, and F-35 fighters. All of them work together to crush enemy resistance and keep the offensive moving without interruption. Hovercraft also bring a special tactics advantage because they can bypass coastal oblistates and carry heavy Bix Charian. They air transport can't handle, allowing attacking forces to strike where the enemy least expects. Once the landing is successful, these forces can sustain operations for extended periods with the support of naval gunfire and air power, stabilizing newly captured territory and protecting civilians. The entire operation follows a highly disciplined rhythm, from planning, loading troops and equipment, rehearsing, and maneuvering to launching fast assaults. In this way, sea power is transformed into real and lasting control on land. Aircraft carriers may dominate the skies, but amphibious assault ships are the bridge between sea and land, turning devastating airstrikes into actual control and long-term influence. Only with that combined capability can victory and peace truly become possible. One of the factors that changed the battlefield most dramatically is the superior power of hovercraft. US Navy hovercraft, especially the LCA and the upgraded SSC version, have differently transformed amphibious warfare through their speed and flexibility. They can travel at more than 40 knots, about 46 miles per hour, much faster than traditional landing craft, significantly reducing travel time from SIPT to shore. There's unique air cushion design allows them to glide over water, beaches, mercies, ice, and many types of difficult terrain that ordinary boats cannot cross. This capability opens access to about 70 to 80% of the world's shorelines, far beyond the roughly 17% that older landing craft can reach. Each hovercraft can carry a payload of 60 to 75 tons, enough for one M1 Abrams tank or several armored vehicles along with dozens of troops, making them extremely valuable for rapidly moving heavy forces ashore. Because they can cross coral reefs, minefields, and mudflats, they allow landing forces to reach places where the enemy's defenses are weakest or least expected, creating major tactical surprise. Their speed and terrain adaptability allow amphibious forces to launch over-the-horizon assaults, sometimes starting from positions 20 to 50 miles offshore or even farther, greatly increasing the survivability of the mothership by keeping it outside the enemy's danger zone. Operations using hovercraft have changed the battlefield by allowing combat power to be built up assured, sustaining momentum with the sort of naval fire and air power, and overwhelming the enemy before they can organize a response. In the age of drone warfare, a massive ship like the Wasp class, essentially a floating airport, also faces new vulnerabilities. Even a single Iranian drone worth around $1 million could cause serious damage if it gets through the defenses. To counter this threat, these ships are equipped with multiple defensive layers, designed to intercept attacks from every direction. At the bow and stern, RIM Il-Il-Yuk rolling airframe, missile rowering. Airframe, missile rowering. Airframe, missile rowering.
Overwhelming enemy before response.
Airframe, missile rowering. 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 Airframe, missile rowering.
With the Sea Sparrow systems
Airframe,
active,
missile
these
rowing.
overlapping defensive arcs ensure
Airframe.
complete
Against incoming
neutralization
missiles
of
in the
all
middle of the
mid-range
ship,
threats.
RIM-7 Sea Sparrow launchers work alongside fire control radars to create broad defensive coverage against aircraft and missiles. Some Wasp-class ships also have additional systems placed around the midsection, allowing overlapping fields of fire so that no angle is left exposed. Mark Samshipal machine guns are mounted along the edges and corners of the hull in high, open positions, giving them a wide field of fire to engage fast attack boats or drones coming in from different directions. Closer to the weather deck are .50 caliber M2 Browning machine guns positioned at the bow and along bass sides of the ship, allowing guns to respond quickly to close-range threats near the waterline. If those methods are still not effective enough against small targets, the CRAM system comes into play. CRAM combines radar and electro-optical sensors and also includes a reloadable 11-cell RAM launcher, creating a relatively independent system capable of detecting and destroying threats without relying completely on outside information. Inside CRAM is the RIM Il-Il-Yuk rolling airframe missile, a small, lightweight air defense missile that uses infrared guidance and is specifically designed to destroy subsonic airborne targets. We create original videos from scratch and animate them by hand, so I hope you will subscribe and follow along so you do not miss our upcoming content.